All right, what's going on, Bulls Nation? It's Tuesday at the time of this video, and 2 more days, and we have another game for the Bulls. But there's some news yesterday when you received this that Goran Dragic just signed with the Nets, so I'm kind of bummed out about that. And I know he might not even crack the rotation of the Bulls, but I was hoping he wouldn't go to an Eastern Conference. I was trying to avoid of him going to any East, even the Bucks. That's why I kind of want to sign him. So even though we were not going to use him because we are guard heavy, but at least we keep him away from our competitors. But that's okay. I think he's not going to make or break us, Goran Dragic. But it is what it is. But let's talk about this trade that went down on the trade deadline. I didn't really address this because on the surface it doesn't have to do anything with the Bulls outside of the fact that because of this trade, I don't think we're gonna get Paul Millsap anymore because he was on the brink of, I would say, getting bought out by the Nets because he hasn't even really played for the Nets, and they're trying to get a trade partner, which they couldn't. But now that he's traded to the 76ers, he's gonna be used because they just traded away one of their big men in Andre Drummond. So, that power forward position, even though I would say I want to say he with Paul Millsap, he was going to help the Bulls at least alleviate that problem until Patrick Williams comes back. But it's okay, we got our big man now in Tristan Thompson, and everything worked well. That in on the surface, that's kind of what affects the Bulls, but in reality, I feel like this benefits the Bulls in the long term. And what do I mean by that? So this trade basically is Harden for Simmons, right? You can include Seth Curry. We can talk about him and Drummond and all that stuff, but it's mostly between the two big guns out here. So with the Nets, I stand pat on my analysis before that. I'm not that scared with the Nets. I think we match up well with the Nets. As a matter of fact, even with Harden, regardless if he leaves or not, let's say Harden stayed, I still like our chances against the Nets over Philadelphia. And what I mean with that, because the one thing that we are always hurting for is, interior defense. And with Brooklyn, with Harden, who likes to shoot outside, he occasionally drives. We all know the rules have changed. So this year, he hasn't gone to the free throw line all that much. And when healthy, the Bulls have the tools to guard the perimeter, with Ball and Caruso, even with Javante. And I know he's mainly using this as a power forward, but keep in mind, he's only, like 6'4". He can move his feet, and he's pretty tough inside. Even at Io is lengthy. He's very good defensively. So with that, I think we'll be fine as far as the Nets are concerned, even with them getting Goran Dragic. And I think that they got Dragic due to the fact that, we're the uncertainty of Kyrie Irving playing at home. So now they got Patty Mills and Goran Dragic. I would say Dragic is more of a insurance policy for them. I wanted us to get him again because of in the short term, but I honestly, my number one on the list is Gary Harris because he's a shooter, has a good size, played pretty good defensively. So, well, even if we don't get Gary Harris, even if we stand pat from here on out, I still like our chances against Brooklyn. And I know most people takes Brooklyn as, the number one consensus that's going to come out of the East, and that always happens when you have Kevin Durant on your team. But he's injured. Supposedly he'll be back. But even if he does, like what is he gonna do? He's gonna drop 40 on us. And I think we can afford that as long as we can contain some of the guys. The Seth Currys and the Drummonds and all that stuff with Kyrie. I think we match up well with the Nets. That's just my opinion. They might beat us, on the playoffs, and on paper they should. But I have full confidence in the Bulls when it comes with the Nets. The two teams that I've been vocal about that I'm kind of, worried about are the Bucks and the 76ers because of two guys, Embiid and Giannis. On our team, when I look around, this is before Tristan Thompson, there's no one can really guard Embiid on our team. And I think he is unbeaten against the Bulls throughout his career. That's how dominant he has been. And to be quite honest, not just the Bulls. The guy has been just on a tear this year. He's in that's why he's leading the league in MVP right now, like in as far as consensus. And he's just, you can just maybe limit him. Now with the addition of Tristan Thompson, I think we can somehow, I guess, frustrate him. I'm not saying we can stop him or Tristan Thompson can stop him, but at least we have a better chance. Let's just put it this way, right? And what I like about this trade, because now with Harden, any other team, like I'm not saying Philadelphia is unbeaten, or unbeatable, because we know, like even Charlotte just run all over them. Because right now the Bulls currently constructed without Ball, we don't run as much. Even with Ball, because with Vooch and DeMar is good, but he's a little bit older. He likes to take his time on the post, shoot those jumpers. We're not those run and gun teams. But here's where I feel like it's interesting. With Harden coming to the 76ers, he's going to take away shots away from Embiid. And like I mentioned with Brooklyn, I feel like we can defend Harden. Like Caruso, I feel like Caruso can lock down Harden. Maybe not lock down, make it hard for him. Is he going to get his 20? Sure. But how many shots? At what efficiency? That is the question. Because even if they switch out with Caruso, if Caruso and Ball comes out, in the playoffs, they're both in. Even Ayo, I think, can guard Harden to an extent. With him being a rookie, I think Harden would post him up. And Ayo would get that. Like he's not going to get the calls in the playoffs. They're not going to do that on a rookie with Harden. But we have enough wing players, I feel, that could stop Harden. And the biggest takeaway from this is that he's going to take the ball away from Embiid's hands. He's going to do that. And for me, that is the best thing that could ever happen for the Bulls. If the ball is not in Embiid's hands, Embiid is so skilled. He can go from the outside. He can go from the inside. He can pass the ball. The more that it's not in his hands, the more he can create, the more he wouldn't hurt the Bulls. That's just my take on it. And I could be wrong. Harden might, go on a tear and all that stuff. But I would take my chances on Harden being guarded by Caruso and Ball and DeMar and Ayo and Levine to an extent, rather than Joel, backing down the likes of Javante and Thompson and Vooch and Tony Bradley. I'd take that any day. But let me know your thoughts on this trade. Do you think they got better? Because I feel like on paper, most people would be like, hey, the 76ers are more of a contender now. And I agree if they're playing any other teams. And maybe I'm being biased here. Maybe I'm just a Bulls homer. But I feel like the inclusion of Harden just made our chances against 76ers. And I know we haven't beaten them yet. I think our chances just went up by having Harden on their team. But yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Am I crazy for thinking this way? I might be. I might be out of my mind sometimes. But yeah, thank you for watching, guys. Hopefully you like this video. If you do, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so. If you're a Bulls fan, I'll really appreciate that. Let's have a friendly conversation on the comments. It's always nice to have an opinion. As long as it's friendly and respectful, I welcome that. God knows I'm wrong most of the time here. But thank you for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.